Okay, you ready?
Is it you're doing my intro? So
the intro's already in.
So he's gonna go right into welcome back, everybody.
Okay. Whenever he's ready.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. Let's get it, boys. 3.
Where are we starting?
Starting with you saying
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley. You're gonna say welcome back, everybody.
So we have Jay's intro basically saying our season doesn't stop, we're going to continue to go through whatever. Then I have Megan's intro, Calvin Ridley, and it ends with her being like, Calvin Ridley. Ridley. She has vocal fry at 8 years old.
Everyone has vocal fry.
Yeah, so...
Alright.
Waiting for him to tell me yes.
Yes.
3, 2, 1...
Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. I'm Travis Sutton. I'm here with Jay up and James up. How you doing, boys?
What's up, guys?
Wonderful. Whoop, whoop.
Nice. We're here for some rookie spotlights. We're going to get into some more guys. We're going to hit a receiver today. And I think his name is Calvin Ridley.
It is. Where's he from? Hit him with the scoop.
Alabama.
He is.
6'1", 190 from what I have here, 23.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit older of a prospect coming out.
Definitely.
A little on the slider side as far as weight goes.
So he was born in December 20th. He also shares birthdays with a couple of famous people. It was the first thing I came across. Jonah Hill, same birthday as Jonah Hill, and Major League Baseball player David Wright from the Mets. Thought that was kind of interesting. So he's a born winner.
That's 2 big names.
Exactly. One's a celebrity, the other one's a baseball player. So
Jonah Hill was great in Superbad.
I see a bright future in his career.
He was pretty good in Wolf of Wall Street.
He was very good. Very good.
He showed his how he can be different than just a comedian.
His chops, his acting chops.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he keeps gaining like 180 pounds and then like losing like 7,000 pounds. Like I can't. He's like looks like a cokehead in one movie and then he's like a huge fat guy in the other.
I wish Calvin Ridley would actually put on a few pounds. Speaking of weight.
I
Take it,
would
Scoop.
as well.
So he's 190, 6'1". So
Yeah.
that's not tiny.
No, he's not tiny. I just wish he would. I'm not talking about put on like 30 pounds. I'm talking about I wish he would put on like 10, 15 pounds maybe.
Which usually when a guy comes out of college with the pros, and that is the issue, they get that fixed pretty quick with the weight room and the nutritionist and the diet and everything.
Okay,
I'm not worried.
To an extent, I agree with that, and I am worried because when you come out of high school, I think nowadays that's more the case because you're going into a big program, especially Alabama. They're going to have all those things at Alabama as well, and if you're not putting on that kind of weight or filling out your frame in college, nothing's really going to change. He's 23, so I mean, if he was going to fill out.
He's on the older side of the rookies coming out, yes.
With the other rookies that are coming out, do you see him as a top? He's a slam dunk as a guaranteed top 3 receiver coming out though, right? Between him and the Suttons and the Christian Kirks.
Honestly, I don't know if we can call anybody slam dunks. The combine hasn't even happened. So if somebody bombs at the combine, all of a sudden the guy's running 4.6.
But as it sits now, he's going to be.
Right now, he's projected first round rookie drafts.
What about
and first round NFL?
That's what I was going to say. Okay, as long
from what everything I've seen, it looks like it's either going to be him or Cortland Sutton taken first as far as the NFL draft goes. There are very, very good guys coming out behind them. James Washington definitely solidified his spot in the Senior Bowl as a possible first rounder as well. But like he said, the combine will show the rest of the way because if he has a bad combine, he could fall behind those guys. He could fall behind Cortland Sutton, James Washington, Christian Kirk. So time will tell.
He's definitely one of the older receivers that are coming out, being 23 years old. He actually will turn 24 midway through next season, which is in December, like we said. He actually, I've read across a stat about him in high school that he was so old during his senior year.
How old was he?
Already, he was so old during his senior year.
19.
No, it's how old?
How old was he?
So he was so old that he was ineligible to play the majority of his high school senior season due to surpassing the Florida age limit of 19 years and 9 months old. So he was almost 20 years old as a senior in high school in Florida. So he missed majority of that season because he either got held back. I couldn't find what happened or why he started late or what happened there. But he was unable to play. I believe it was the last 6 games of his high school career in Florida because of his age.
That's crazy.
Right. So 19 years, 9 months, he was unable. So he's basically 20 years old. So that's why you see he was only a junior right now coming out from Alabama, and he's 23, almost 24 years old. Usually juniors are 21, maybe 22-ish. So he's definitely on the older side, which, again, that goes to the test of fact of what you're saying. That if he's 23 years old, he hasn't changed, his size and his weight by now, that you're right. Maybe it is this is what you're going to be looking at for the next couple
I
seasons.
mean, he may be able to put a little bit on, but I think what you would expect him to kind of put on for NFL, his frame just might not hold it. But time will tell.
And that's a problem too, because he's shown a lot of good traits, but some of the knocks, there's not very many knocks against this guy, but some of the knocks against guys is a thin frame. So can he fill it out in the weight room? And he's got decent height, but he's not like the prototypical 6'4" wide receiver that you're going to be drafting as your number 1 wide receiver. Like he's 6'1". Chances are pretty good he's not going to get much taller. He's probably already stopped growing as far as that. Maybe he fills out a little bit, but I don't think he's going to all of a sudden just explode once he gets to the NFL.
Well, I heard he was in contact with Jared Goff's hand guy.
Right.
So they're going to hang weights from his feet and hang him by his hands and hope that he just stretches out a little bit. I doubt that's going to happen.
Yoga will do wonders for you.
One of the things too is I saw as a knock, which I don't know if I buy a whole lot. He had minor bouts of drops, but his quarterback didn't help him out very much. Like he had Jalen Hurts the last couple of years as his quarterback, and I just wasn't impressed with him as a quarterback, in my opinion. He's more of a running quarterback than anything.
Outside the knocks from the guy, though, he was a first-team All-SEC, first-team in 2017. He was first team as a wide receiver. Then he was a 2-time national champion, 2015 and 2017. Obviously, both with Alabama. He was a 5-star prospect recruit coming out of Monarch High School in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So even without him playing those last couple of games in high school, he still came out into college getting touted by Alabama as a 5-star recruit. So that should say that the test of his abilities, and it's not all about size, that he does have a pedigree that goes back into high school and when he was younger. And yeah, the age thing is a little bit of a factor, but he's been doing it clearly for a while. And a 2-time national champion to get on your team clearly has experience in big games, which I think holds a lot of weight too when you're going to an NFL team. Experience.
I don't know how much weight it's going to hold.
Just experience.
A guy coming out of like Alabama and school like that, where I don't put a whole lot into their championship.
But he was a major factor in it. It wasn't like he was a special teams guy. Like he was a starting wide receiver on all 3.
Right, and he had the lowest receptions of his career there this year. And part of that's from the quarterback. And I think that team you have NFL defense on that team, basically. You got a lot of those guys are going to the NFL.
Yeah.
And offensive line.
The first couple of days of the draft, too.
So I agree with you, like that it looks good on a little resume.
Mm-hmm.
As far as me, for my dynasty team or how I look at him, I wouldn't necessarily count that into the equation. I have a little one here.
Yeah, you do.
He's one.
I would say tiny.
You talking to my wife?
Tiny.
One of only 3 SEC wide receivers since 2000 to have more than 200 receptions in only 3 seasons. So I mean that's pretty good. He can catch the ball, and clearly his last season he only had 55 catches, the lowest of the 3. So clearly he can catch the ball, even when you don't have really a passer.
Julio Jones is one of the other ones, correct?
Oh, I don't know the other ones.
Oh.
One of the things I like about him, though, are how quick his feet are. Like, we talked about Chad Johnson in another episode. Like, he kind of made his career off the quick feet. That's kind of like Calvin Ridley. It's the same type of deal. So he explodes out of the break. He's got that second gear once he gets into secondary, and he's an excellent route runner. So he does have a lot of good positives.
So for the listeners, are you calling him Chad Johnson?
No, you know what? Chad Johnson's not really a Hall of Famer in my mind. I think he'll be close to it, but I don't think he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
I've read on multiple different places that he's comparable to Reggie Wayne from the Colts. He said he has great hands. When he's on a roll, he catches everything. He does have drops for some reason he has drops at the wrong time sometimes, and it kind of makes you think. Yes, it makes you think that like he has issues catching the ball. But from what I read, he has great hands, great route runner, and he's a little undersized, a prototypical receiver, which is exactly what Reggie Wayne was. He's a great route runner. When he was on, he would catch 10 or 11 balls in a game, but he was undersized as an actual wide receiver.
But he's a guy that can score every time he touches the ball. Like he has that kind of quickness.
Calvin Ridley does.
Yes,
so does
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, so did Reggie Wayne.
One of the comps that I was reading was Santonio Holmes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I mean, he's
super fast.
So listen, even when we knock on a guy, he's going to be productive most likely. All signs point to him being productive in the NFL. What the ceiling is, I mean that's what we're trying to figure out by diving into these guys.
And what we're trying to tell you is that we're trying to give you the positives and the negatives. We came out and just said all this great stuff about this guy. It's like you think that every guy should be drafted in the first round of your rookie draft. We're trying to show you the positives and the negatives. and let you kind of decide where you want to take this guy. He's going to be a first rounder in every single rookie draft that we're going to be a part of, unless he absolutely just bombs the combine, which I don't see happening. So you're looking at a guy that's probably going to be drafted, I would say somewhere in the 3 to 6 range in your rookie draft, depending on where you're at. So I mean, he's either going to be the first or second receiver taken in every rookie draft.
Possible fit for an NFL team. I keep seeing. I saw 2 different mock drafts that had him going to the Chicago Bears.
See, and I like him in the Bears because you have Cameron Meredith coming back, so he doesn't have to be the number 1 right out of the chute.
Right. And
Cameron Meredith's been there for a couple of years, and he knows how to deal with being the number 1 corner. And you have Trubisky, who's going to be in his second year. He got a lot of run this last season as a quarterback, so he's going to be a little more experienced. But I like him in that spot.
Shaheen as well there, so it'll be a young group of guys that are kind of up and coming with Jordan Howard in the backfield, and Tarek Cohen.
And Baltimore's also looking for a receiver too, so that's another team that you can look out. I don't know. To me, that'd be a decent situation. It depends on what they do in free agency. If they try to bring back Jeremy Maclin or Mike Wallace, so I don't know. If they let both those guys walk and you're only left with Ridley and a couple other, Rashad Perriman, then it's probably a worse situation.
And you're rebuilding.
Right.
What do you think? You see him land anywhere in particular? Travis?
No, I mean, just who's to say? Like, who wants to take him, depending on where he goes in the actual NFL draft? Who's willing to take? Because not a lot of position guys necessarily go. You got to be really good, and there's only a handful of guys that really go in the first round that aren't defensive or offensive line or something like that. Chicago, to me, is kind of scary. I think that's kind of a mess. I mean, if he is good and can handle himself, it's wide open. Meredith hasn't played for a whole year. He was one time he kind of came out and did some things and looked pretty good, but they were behind a lot and they were.
What about Kevin White?
Chucking the ball around. Kevin White.
He's not going to catch another touchdown the rest of his career.
He has.
You say catch.
Oh yeah,
reception.
Either one.
He has a pedigree, and they're gonna try to get. They're not just gonna walk away from him because they drafted him high, first rounder. So
Who's this? Kevin White.
Kevin White. So he's still gonna get every opportunity to fulfill where they drafted him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I guess.
Cameron Meredith is a guy that they could just kind of turn and walk away from because he has no pedigree and nothing really to have allegiance to, other than him having to produce. So if he comes in and struggles, then I think Ridley he could jump right in and get a lot of action.
I agree.
What about San Fran?
And also,
Shanahan's
just
offense?
before we move on from that,
Yes.
I've read a lot of Ridley being a slot kind of guy. So I mean, that spot's kind of open. I don't know who they got really playing the slot, but a number of guys really. So I can see White, Meredith on the outside, and Ridley in the slot. I mean,
not bad. I mean, the names
sounds good. Yeah,
the names sound good. It's just they've been very underproductive in their career. Like they haven't really done much. But they have, like you said, they have the talent there. They just need to, for one, stay healthy, which is non-existent in Kevin White's career. But same thing with Meredith. I mean, he got hurt as well. So they're both coming off a season-ending injury.
Strawberries?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
This is a safe word that we're getting off topic.
We're getting into the Bears.
So I think it's a great fit.
I mean, I want to go down that rabbit hole too, but let's get back to Calvin Ridley.
There's a few different teams I would love to see him on. Like I think he would thrive in a San Francisco if they don't go after a free agent. If they just stick with what they've got with Marquise Goodwin and bringing in somebody like Ridley, I think he'd do really well in Shanahan's offense. Buffalo needs a receiver.
Yeah, they also need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback, but I'm saying that's another team that could jump up and take him. What about the Dolphins? If they let Landry, Landry's a free agent. We don't know where he's going. What if the Dolphins, come up?
Yeah, for sure. I have questions about their quarterback situation as well. Like somewhere I'd like to see him go is where that quarterback situation is kind of steady. Otherwise, you might have to wait on him.
But a lot of those teams right there that we just named aren't. Yeah, none of those teams actually are. Because even I've seen Arizona looking for a receiver because they don't know where Fitzgerald's going, and John Brown's a free agent. Another situation where they have no quarterback.
So out of those, like 49ers is probably the most positive looking place to land.
Yeah, but San Fran would have to take him with the number 4 pick or whatever it is. They're not going to take him that early.
No, they're not. They're like number 5. Second or 8.
You think they would take him that early though?
And you never know how the draft's going to go. They could actually they're willing to wheel and deal at the draft. You saw that last year when they traded down. Maybe they trade down a couple spots and they jump to the number 10 or 11. They drop down.
Where have you seen him projected? I've seen him projected late first, early second.
Between 20 and 32.
All right. So yeah, late first, maybe early second. So I mean,
If he lasted the early second, you got the Browns on the clock for 2 picks, back to back on like 33 and 34. If for some reason they did get Saquon Barkley and they got their quarterback, and then all of a sudden the second round first pick Ridley falls to them, they can get 3 studs potentially.
I would stay if that's what they did. I would steer clear. I would stay away from that.
Of who? Of Ridley?
Of the situation at the Browns, because if they're not going to address offensive line and defense and just position
it's just all
players,
big names, yeah.
It's a mess, dude. It's a fire waiting to happen.
They're going to get Barkley, Ridley,
it's not a fire waiting
and
to
Baker
happen.
Mayfield.
The fire's been burning for 30 damn years. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, I also found interesting that he has a younger brother named Riley that's actually at Georgia right now, class of 2020, which means that they played against each other, or they were on the field together when Alabama played Georgia for the national championship game.
We actually didn't know that, well, I didn't. I don't know if you did. I didn't know that he had a brother and that he played for Georgia until that game. As soon as that game came on, and it was Riley Ridley who was having the monster first half, if you remember.
Correct.
And it was almost like he was kind of stealing the show from big brother Calvin, who was going into the NFL draft. And so that's kind of how Riley put his name on the map, because I didn't even know he had a brother until that
And
game.
I think they actually have the same name, but the younger brother has gone by kind of a different name. But like,
Is he Calvin Ridley the second?
they both they brought that up during the game, and then they made reference to that he goes by, Riley or whatever.
Mhm.
But they actually have the same. It's weird. It's
I
weird.
it wasn't like similar. It wasn't the same. It was like Calvin and Kelvin or something like that. It was like very similar,
Okay.
and that's why he goes by Riley, because the name was so similar.
So Riley's probably
Trying to get out of the
shot.
shout out his brother.
Kind of like Jay and James.
Right, that's why I go by Jimmy. No, I'm just
It's
kidding.
It's like Jason and James, and that's why you go by Jay.
Right.
Correct.
All right.
Right. He was being overshadowed by his younger brother, so he had to change it up.
I changed it before you even have thought.
Yeah.
T-H-O-T thought.
Thoughty. Anything else that we want to add to Calvin Ridley?
I'm looking forward. I've been trying to this year, especially. I mean, fairly new to Dynasty. I know in redrafts, usually it's a stay away from rookies unless they're like can't miss rookies coming out.
I don't think this is one of those
I
situations.
don't either, but in as far as the draft coming up, I'm trying to stay